Welcome guys to a new video on the channel. Today we have a sort of a special video for you guys, as I'm going to talk about my collection. So, people that don't know me, I'm a huge Gear Chronicle fan, and since the beginning of the V era I started collecting some old Gear Chronicle cards. And I already played Gear Chronicle G era, because that's when I began playing the game. But I didn't really have all of the cards yet, and I evolved to want to have everything from a certain clan. So whenever I have a deck, I really want to have a big collection of the clan, of course. So it began starting with Gear Chronicle, where I got a lot of cards over the time, and I thought, why not just share it with you guys. I have my binders right here, and we'll just go right into it. So let me grab the first binder. This is the first one. So what I did is, for every set Gear Chronicle was in, or trial deck or something, I put them in as a playset, but I don't actually have all of the cards yet. In the mean that I have a lot of cards, but some cards like even commons and rares I don't even have, in the sense that I don't have them in the correct rarity or something like that. And I can easily buy them, of course, but I don't want to buy a lot of shipping costs only for cards that are probably worth a few cents. So that's the reasoning behind it. And I just like to collect some cards. I would just go right to the first. For the first picture, of course, when you don't have any left side, but you can already see what I meant with. I don't have just everything. Like, I have the side versions of the clone jets and Chronicle. I do have the triple rares of Mystery Flare, but I don't actually have the common rarity. So yeah, that's something like I just want to have over the years. Like, the first page of the first one, I only want to see like a full binder set of. Unfortunately, I don't have it right now, but it's just something for the future. Like, collecting for me is also like just a little bit of an extra hobby, in the sense that you can just do it on your own free time of whenever you want. Then we just go through the trial decks, of course. I don't have the extra rarity or the extra for Chronicle yet. Also for the embers, don't really have the base rarity. So you already see it's not a full set collection, but don't be misjudged by it, because I also have a quite a big common box, or actually a bulk, where I just kept commons, rares, even double rares and everything like that in there. And like for example, the Ember card, I have a playset. Like, I have a playset, but it's not the exact same copy that is from this trial deck. So in that scenario, I just have a copy where I have a playset to play with, but I don't actually have to work with. Then we go over the rest of the trial deck. Of course, we don't have the starter. Starter were only on one copy in the trial deck. So this is just, I need to get 4 trial decks to get this. Of course, I didn't. So I need to buy these directly off, of course. And we go into the first set. So also try to collect gray elementals that were in the same sets as the Chronicles. But for the gray elementals that are separate, I just have those separate in a binder. And then we already have here 4 cards that are missing. What cards could those be? Those are probably high rarity cards. I don't know them out of the top of my head. You have, of course. Oh, I remember what this card actually is. It's Chronicle Dragon. This is the Chronicle XP, which I actually play in a few decks. So yeah, of course, like I have my Time Leap deck right here, and as you can already see, it's the Chronicle. Like, I have 2 of the versions of them in the SP right here. But I also have those SP in my Mystery Flare Turbo deck. And then, of course, these need to be the base rarity. I think I still need 2 of them, because the other 2 are also in decks. So, the Relic Master Dragon. Like, I have the SPs right here. I finished story with some of the cards. I ordered them. They came in, and they were in the wrong set. So, that's really unfortunate. Happens lots of times, so that's why I also don't really want to order. We go to the end of the set, into the new one. These need to probably be gray elementals, but not that important for me to get them right away, because gray elementals I actually want to have all of them. So yeah, also gray elementals, because this was from Fire's collection. There is also needs to be a gray elemental thing. Then we have the Fate Rider SP, which is actually quite hard to get, I have to say. Like I got some through card market, of course, but there were like only 1 or 2 copies at that time, and even now I think. Like, I got some to trading, buying at events, but I still need the one last copy, which I actually want to have. So, and of course, guys, if you see anything missing, you can always DM me to Twitter, to anything you want. The Hearthstone Poker, the old one. So this is the one where they didn't have the SP border yet, but we go later and have. It's just quite some old cards. Like these cards are just on the Rewinder. And here is the first card that I took out actually, like for my Steamboat Premium deck, because this is a Steamboat, but it's also a draw trigger, and that's really big for the deck, of course. But I only have 6 copies of them, so as you can see, whenever I want to play with a deck, I need some cards from it. I would just take it out of the binder to play with it, because I find playing with the cards is more important to me than having them in the binders. And you see again some gray elementals, the 4 next stages. You don't see it right here. Just grab it out of the thing. It just has a different sleeve, and this is of course the first GR of sets. Like that's when Chronicle became a actual strong house in the meta, I think. I myself began playing around GBTO 6 or 7, so I don't remember that time. Calumen, which was a very good card back in the day. This card which was played sometimes around the CTP era, like with Chronicle Dragon Z. I remember for the 3 scouters every single turn, and then you have Upstream Dragon, which was just a general good card. And then we go to this portion, and this portion, like, it's packed because you have of course the secret rares X stages. I also have 2 of those in my deck, which is right here, of course. I have 2 of those in my G zone, and I have 2 of those in the binder. But I only have the 1 secret rare from Chronicle, which I actually want more copies of, because this card is just like, I really like this artwork. Like it's beautiful, everything like that. I think they did a wonderful job with it. So really want to get some more, but it's currently like I could not find any of these cards in Europe. But I was thinking about getting some from America, which this copy always also derived from. Like I knew a seller who was from America, who doesn't usually ship to Europe. But I just contacted him, told him about my collection, and he was gladly, like, he was willing to sell this to me and ship to me, which was really nice. Like also for the affordable price and everything. So I was like, okay, thank you, mate. Don't remember the shop exactly, but I know, yeah. And of course we have the Metallica Phoenix, which was from the trial deck, which triple rare, the common version. So as you see, I also take the triple rares apart from the common rarity, just because I like to order them. We go to Timely trial deck, which was actually the second. And this is the trial deck with, of course, the sort of the hold stamp on them. And this is the trial deck I bought, because this is when I started around playing the deck, which was really fun, because what I had in the past is I only had 1 Metallica Phoenix, and I think you have 1 or 2. Yeah, you have 2 Metallica Phoenix in the trial deck, and so you can only strike once, because yeah, of course you can strike twice, but you can only use a skill once because you need to flip. So back then I just got common strike just to flip with, of course, Metallica Phoenix. This is the artwork that I started to play Chronicle with. But this isn't actually my favorite artwork from them all. Of course we have History Maker. History Maker we need to talk about, because like this card is such a powerhouse for the clan. Amazing card, of course. Play it to this day, because it's such an insane card. And it has a lot of memories for me, at least. Like I think these are also my versions that I got from Draco. I played with them in the past. And I just got, of course, the 4 triple rares and common versions. I was like, when looking back, really sad, like, these triple rares are very weird. Like, yes, they are a sort of triple rare version, but you don't see it that much. Like, I would have loved to have a higher rarity of these. Actually, to have an SP of History Maker would be insane. But at least in Revival Selection, I made already a triple rare version of this. To elevate it a bit, where you actually see the rarity. But I really want to have an SP version of this. Then we go further. Then we have of course, the Chronicle. Also a really insane card. I don't have a 4th copy of this, want to have it in the future. This copy was all like, I got this last copy, actually from Antwerp, I think. And it was from Bram Del Porte, aka Radiant Vanguard. Really huge that he sold it to me. It's a really nice guy. And I still need one more, so if you guys know, let me know. Then Chronicles Commands Revolution. This is one of the only cards that I don't have a playset of. I just want to have it, but I'm not going that big for it. It's one of those only cards I only have 3 cards of. I want to grab more of it, but will just be in the future. Then of course I think these are, I think these need to be Grey Elementals again. Then we go to Fate Rider. Fate Rider in combination with Melon. And Melon is here, like, they need to also make an SP of Melon. Like, for me at least, make an SP version of the entire Elite form. But that's something like I think many people want. But Melon also a really stable powerhouse. Got a reprint later, of course, that's right. This is around when Timely began to shine, of course. And this is also when we finished the first binder. So we will go quickly to the second binder. We'll see you guys. So we'll just go over the second binder right here. And we will just open it instantly. And we see, of course, the rest of the, like the Time Leap stuff. Of course, TikTok work, which was reprint also with powerful selection. Same card. Missing a few cards here and there for this is I think from the starter deck actually. Yeah, this is from the starter deck. So Chronicle also has got a starter deck where, and it was just to introduce new players into the game. Then go over here and we see like more of the rewind stuff, which was early reprinted. Also this one got a reprint, which is almost the same cartridge as we said earlier, but only with a different set of restrictions. Of course, here is something that I lose quite a bit of, but that's because these are just one-offs in the trial deck or the starter deck what you have. So I need to pick up 4 either for starter deck or just buy them 4 copies of. But they're not difficult to find, but it's more to the fact that whenever you want to buy them, most people ship out the wrong set. We go over here and we go again to the Fighters collection. Of course, it's cool. A Warp Dragon, Uru, which we still play to this day. Feeling insane. And then we go to the gear set. And the gear set is actually insane because here we already go to Bind Time Dragon. And we got a lot of SPs incoming. So of course, still need to get those 2 Bind Time Dragons, which I want to get. These are more on my priority list than ever. Then we have the Chronofang, which is of course the Chronofang set. And oh no, this was GPT-07. I got confused because Chronofang is also in the Gears of Fate set. So still 2 SPs and everything. But I was talking about different set. But of course we have got Chronofang, Ravana. I have 1 loose copy right here, as you guys may see. But this is from because I have it in deck, of course, to play with. And we switch over to Ravana. Also have multiples to play in my deck because Ravana is such a good G card in general. And we go over the rest. So we have, of course, the PG that's essentially equitable, but with a bind zone skill. We go over, and now I think this is the set of Gears of Fate. As you may see, like this is just insane because you have, of course, here the Quintet PG, which I have 4 copies of. And of course Demiurge. Only have 1 copy of Demiurge, like and that's just because I didn't really pick them up that more. And for the Chronofang I also have 1 copy. But back in the day I traded away my base rarity ones for SPs. And with that I don't actually have the base rarity anymore. Like I only have 1 copy, but I still need 3 extra base rarities. But of course I got already the SP, so I have replaced it with these. Then we have, of course, the Imperial One Dragon with focus around Chronicle's Command. And of course the Prosperita ID drone, or how you want to pronounce it. Like these are just really cool SPs. Like I don't know if you guys ever looked at them, but as you can see, you have a lot of more caption around SP than of course the base rate. Yeah, these are of course the Headhounds. I got 4 copies of Headhound. But yeah, of course they are in all my decks because Headhound is such an important unit. the late blazer, which we even see coming back into the deck. With of course new strat, we will still be thinking about it. 2-bit Chimera, I have those in my decks also. And yeah, for like this set has such a lot of SPs for Chronicle, as you can already see, like on a few pages already. You have such packed SPs that this set was only for Chronicle, of course, so they have the opportunity. Then we have the Lava Shim, which is the timely PG. As you may see in my deck profile, I play 1 copy of it, so that's why it's 1 loose here. And yeah, that's really it. Like, you can go through the set and see some awesome cards. Like of course the Casualty Dragon to give your mana the type ability, so she gains the power of mystery build. Some really good skills and everything. And like as I said earlier, Chronicle has such a diversity of cards they can use that you just need to look at cards themselves. We go over it. Then we have, of course, I think this is the first, like the real first Chronicle SPs, because we of course have the next stage right here, the SPs one. Really huge, like, but I prefer to have the SCR essentially, but I still want to get the SPs of. And we have of course the Chronicle SPs. You don't see, I don't think you see it that good on camera. Hopefully you guys see it, but it's such a nice SP to have. Like, it's just awesome that I have 4 copies of it, and this is one of, like, it's the first SP of Chronicle. And you have of course Steamboat Dragon. This is of course the Horton worker, which we got earlier also in the spring, but then this is with his stack pop removed. Then we of course have the rest of the SPs for Chronicle. This, like it, if you see it in this light, it's really beautiful. It's the same for every other card. And we of course have here the Hanglang. I play a 3rd copy, or I have a 3rd copy of the Trooper. It's just in my deck right now. I have a lot of cards to go through. And then we go, then we go to the second trial deck of Chronicle, and then we see something really weird. Again, I have the 4 copies of the stamped ones, but I don't have the base rarity of Untitled Dragon G. And that's really because I think you got 1 hot stamped and 1 copy of the normal rarity or something like that. And what I just did is I got the 4 or the 2 extra copies of the hot stamped, and later I got the 3rd one, and I never really got an extra copy of the base rare, or not a playset of the base rare one. I want to pick this up, of course, and then a sort of a sad story what happened with the Chrono things. I actually, like, I should have gotten 4 copies of the hot Chrono thing to make like this entire trial deck complete. The problem with this is I had 1, so I bought 3 more. I found a seller that got 3 copies of the Chronicle hot stamps, but what happened, the package got lost in the mail, and with that I was like, okay, that's so be it. I got my money back in the end, but those were never really available again on the market. It's very hard to find copies of these. I actually I got one a few weeks back, but I still really want to have 2 more, because as you may see, I have this entire trial deck completed, all the hot stamps and everything like that. And that's where we go into the 3rd binder, so let's be real quick. Then we go to the 3rd binder, of course, and as you may see, it's exactly the same, like everything we have already for the trial deck in the hot stamp and everything. I have to say this is a Japanese version. I don't know why I have a Japanese version actually, but I just found it funny. Want to replace it someday with the English version, of course, but for now it's just a nice replacement. And further, still need to extra current. As I said earlier, you only get 1 starter per trial deck, so that's it. Please remind it, 4 copies of this, which is, I think, the most, like, the hardest one to find. The hue. It's almost the same with every other starter deck or trial deck. And then I think the elementals, I think, split packages, which I got 4 copies of in the SP in the end. No, of course, this is around the era that CTB began to pick up, and where we see a lot of SPs income. Oh yeah, and then the revival set back in G, where we got the additional melon reprint. And we have, of course, a crossover It's just a really terrible card, but I really like his artwork. His artwork is just amazing. Of course, this card, which can see play. There are some lines of play that you can do with this card that are really underrated. So really want to pick up a fourth copy of this. Then this card, really expensive. Like when I look at it on card market, it's like 60 euros or something. I don't understand why it's so expensive. So really want to wait to pick this up. And then the beauty of them all for Archives. This is one of the most difficult cards to find for Chronicle, and I'm really happy that I got them at 4 copies. I think it's I had 2 copies already because I bought them from someone on Facebook, and then later I saw them on card market. It's actually I would call a friend of mine right now, and he, of course, for people that also play Chronicle, you probably know him because it's Michael Windy, I think. So really happy I got these from him. Really appreciate it, of course, that he put them on the market. I think he still has a playset left for himself, but for myself, I completed my playset, which is actually the hardest card to find nowadays for Chronicle. Then we go for the rest. Exhaust Dragon, I have a loose copy right here, but it's like I still have it in my decks. So I have like 7 copies. So, yeah, then we go over some of the other cards. For people that don't know it, this also got a PR in the sense of the participation promo, I think, for BCS 2016. I also have those, but of course those are promos, so they will be in a separate binder. Then we go further down the road, and then we go to the section that I have quite like. I want to get these, but I am just waiting for the right time. Place. Of course, the Steamboat, which was the reprint version, and not that hard to find. Just want to take my time with it. Same with Hartem, same with Arnhem. And of course, Grey Elementals. And we go right here. We have Ragdown, which is in a lot of decks. So yeah, of course. Ulawu, which I only have 2 copies of the base rarity one, because you also have to reprint later. Connell, I have the full art versions of those, so I want to pick them up eventually. Not really in the mood right now. Then another sets of SP. So as you can see, lots of SP I already have. It's only the real ones that I'm missing is the bonus command as here to make the collection complete. Because if I got bonus command, the bonus command complete, then I can like for. But then it's so close to completion for the SPs that I would just make it here. Here next, of course, which was a really good powerhouse pack in the day. Glare, which wasn't really that big of a powerhouse. Then I think some CTB cards back in the day. Of course, the Arga, Untitled Dragon Z. Really huge card, of course. Also have those in the SPs. Have the Seraph Dragons, the Gizeh. But for these ones, I also have something extra, because these are not the only SP versions that are available on the market. You also have winner cards, of course. Like, I didn't win these myself, I just bought them. But in the past, when I bought them, these are really, really cheap. Like, for now, they go for a few €100. I got them back in the day for like 50 APs or something, or 50 in total. I don't even remember, because the guy I bought these from were also selling the SPs, so it was just at the time that they were quite cheap to pick up. And that's really already it for the binder. Like, you could say, where is the rest of the Seraph Dragons? Of course, these are also in a separate binder, which I will showcase at the end. The white binder, like this is already a different type of binder, as you may probably see. We will go here to the rest of the CTB, and I think I got this all completed. And then we go to the Mystery Flares, like the beginning of V era. Take this deck a shit ton, and I have to say I had to blast with it. The Mystery Flare, these are the SVRs. I still have those in my decks, so that's why they're not in this binder. But for the rest, of course, we have the Lost Legend ORs, of course, which was just like, I really liked these back in the day, because every clan got ORs, everything like that. But Chronicle is different, because we didn't already have a previous artwork for Lost Legend. So I like it's an OR, but it's more of an SP, which I like far more than having gotten a OR, of course. Like if you got an OR for something like Mystery Flare, I really like the artwork for the new one far more, so I'm really happy we got the SPs. Then we go to the one. I think this is almost like this is entirely filled up, like from the entire set onwards. Then we go, of course, to this page. This is where I talked about the reprint. Then we have the Untitled Dragon. This is, of course, the Gisei pack, or again with the reprints. I just put formula right here because it's easier to tag in. Because these you can see as a mix. Here needs to be a dust, but I already have a lot of dust, so that, of course, also the Formula STR. Also have those in my decks, not in my Chronicle deck actually, but in my Dark Reckless deck, so that's where it relies now. Then I think these are, of course, the Criticals, which I also have in my decks. The Chronofang Rebellions in SVR. Actually, for this story, I actually have 2 playsets of the SPs. But I don't have the base rarity of the Rebellions, because what happened is I bought some copies from a good friend of mine, like just directly, but they unfortunately got lost in the mail, so that's unfortunate behind it. I still need to resolve that, but it's not a big thing. We'll probably get this later because it's not that expensive anymore. Also for the fact that I also got a extra playset of SP, but I don't have an extra, like I only have 1 copy of the normal base rarity. And of course Aircap and Chronicle, which was, these were expensive when they came out, and I was really happy because I like at the beginning I was like, these cards will be expensive, and at release they were like €1 or 2 or something. So I bought a bunch of those just to play, and they began to really ramp up in price, like €15 mark, €20 mark. I was really happy to play set. Then we go to the Rebellion set. Also has some really insane cards, which is this card. This card was really huge when it came out. Many people overlooked on it. I was really stoked with it. Which I played at the time. Like those was at the time when I went to my locals and I just said, oh, you have a 17 card hand. Sorry man, but I will push through it. Then we of course have a different starter deck, and this is a sort of a promotional deck that got chops in. I also have those in my binders, of course, with a really rare background. Really like them, of course. So that's really about it. Also got this for the most part. You only get 1 copy of this in promotional deck, so that's why I only have 2 copies. These are also all 2 copies because I like a friend of mine wanted, I think, or something like that. And for some people that don't know it, these criticals actually don't have the boost icon. And I don't like, there are not even errata yet, since yeah, nobody looks after these. So yeah, so be it. And then we go to the other trial deck, because this was a promotional deck. Then we immediately go to the trial deck. But of course, the triple rares, and these are not like, I have quite a lot of triple rares, of course. Not all of them, unfortunately. Really want to get some, but some are just like, they're irritating to pick up. Like only one seller has 1 copy, and I want to have it, but rather just do it when I see people in person, of course. Then with Big Rover, of course. PGs I have, because PGs are actually important. That's why I like important cards I usually get first. And then we have Chronogen, which I only have 2 triple rares of. But that's because I also already have that piece. So that's big. We have of course the triggers that are coming up, but I play those in my deck. So for the draw triggers, also those in my deck. So as you can see, missing piece right here, but that's because I have those in my deck. Then of course the Uluwu. You may be thinking, why don't you have a Uluwu? Like, if there would be a trigger that you will play, of course, then it will be Uluwu in the Steam main deck. That's because I think I play these ones, and because I just like to have a little bit of diversity. This has the boost icons, and of course I got multiples of these, so I have like this. But I can also see myself switching to it, and this is like the beginning of stage set. I think, yeah, this is the beginning of the next stage set. I of course have the next stage SP. I have 3 left because these are in my These are actually in my free premium deck, and I only have 3 copies of the base rarity one. Still need to pick up my 4th, but it will be with due time when VRs are hopefully being reprinted once again. And then we already go to the last binder, so let's grab that one off. And then we have this one, so this is the last binder, which will wrap up, of course, the whole Chronicle side. And of course, Smoker SP will be here. I also have those in my deck. Steamboat Dragon also have those in my deck. You had 2 different type of species. You had the full art and the box borderless. Or this is the full art. And then we had the one without the box art, so I also have those. And Hardtone Barker, which I got multiple SPs on. And then we go to the next page. So, really some really interesting and interesting cards. Of course, the Ulu full art, which was really big to pick up. Of course, the Chronicle, which I have a playset of, only 3 are in the deck and 1 not. I think there's also needs to be a card right here. I think it's the Quick Shoot actually, which I only have 1 copy of. I'll find one then. We just have some loose commons that I just play in the deck. 1 Cyclone, which I also play in my deck. As you may see, there are a lot of cards, like all the Elementals from Premium Collection. Quack, play in the deck. Quack, play in the deck. Tempesphere, one of the hugest cards that came out for Chronicle. I still remember playing it in BSFO and just cutting short on getting top 8. But yeah, there's Stride Kit, because in every deck you play Stride Kits almost. So, of course, I'm missing 1 copy of it. Time Leaper, I have 1 in my premium deck, 1 in my Tiara deck. But that's really it about it. Lost Gearlock 8, I really want to have more copies of it. But it's so expensive that I just wait for it right now. And I think this is also the set with the ASR Chronicle, which I of course have. Because I think these need to be the ASR. And for people that don't know it yet, I also have the ASRs just in my deck chilling right here. Just because I like to play with them. So these need to be the ASR. I of course have a playset of it, but it is. And then we go to 5 collection. Bearlock, really huge that I brought it out. I have 3 of those also in my G-Zone lying around. Then we go here to History Maker. Want to get a playset, only got I want to have more than a playset, but I still got this of course, because I played 3 of course in the main time loop deck. But this will just be in due time. I just will order these probably when we order again with a couple of friends. Then one of the SP, because I have my decks. The VSR, which I actually have 1 copy of, only I wait a little bit for it to drop down in price, because I think 60 euros isn't. Oh. And then we go to the last set, of course, which is Clan Selection. And then we have the Ilu SP, also have one. Okay. And that's really it, I think. Like, the only thing I can really showcase you guys is of course by PRO Chronicles, because I just have them lying around. Yeah, I still have the deck profile. So as you can see, I also have these as a full of course. You also see a lot of SPs that I was talking about earlier. Here are not any SPs, but here definitely they are. With of course the PS bonus command. So that's really it for my collection. But there's only 1 binder left to really talk about. Okay, and for my last binder, which I have right here, these are just my Cybertruck and everything as a collection. So of course I have here Dust. There's the promotional card, because as you may see, I already have all of the Dust in my set order. And I just was like, okay, this needs to be in the promo binder. Why not just put it right here, of course. Then we of course have the Formido, which is of course in the decks and in the binder. Then we have the Darkseid Overtrigger, which I have a bunch of, all in decks. Then I have the Drachma and Gilgon, which I also got, but they landed out for the Shinobi player that made top 8. So in friends of course, and he wanted to use or has those at his disposal. And then we have the rest of the Shadow Triggers, of course the rest of the Overtriggers. And that's really wraps it up for my collection. Hopefully you guys enjoy it to see all of these cards. I don't know how this video will turn out. Just comment down below if you have any questions